Hey guys, I'm Joy6, I'm here with Total Master, and we are here to show you what we think are the top 5 worst Legends of Runeterra cards of all time. This was a very tough ranking because there are a lot of cards, but hopefully we got what we think are some of the worst, right, Total?
Yes, I think this top 5 is legitimately the worst top cards in the game. I think Runeterra has a lot of bad cards, but those are definitely the worst ones.
So let's go right into it. For our 5th place, we have Seal in Steel, which is a card that came with the Aatrox expansion. It's a fast speed spell, and it says obliterate an ally and create a corrupted form with its stats. A corrupted form is an equipment, so basically you'll be obliterating a unit, probably as a response to a removal, and it will be made into an equipment which costs 3 mana. And this card is very bad for several reasons, right?
Yes, I think this card is very bad because you need to obliterate a unit, and then you have to have another unit in board to equip this unit with. Remember that 90% of the equipments in the game are like 2 mana, and this one is 3 mana, so it's very bad. Okay, it's one of the trashiest cards in the game.
Yeah, considering that it says stats, so it doesn't count keywords, so it doesn't even have the value of a keyword of a scout unit, for instance, or an elusive unit. And in my opinion, if this card was an auto-equip equipment, like if you would remove the card and then it would jump the equipment onto another unit that is already on board, that would be better. But overall, it's just very bad, and it also doesn't match Targon, right?
Yeah, another thing about this is that it's a red card in Targon, and Targon has a lot of blue and white cards and that, so it doesn't really match the visuals of the region.
I thought it was Aatrox at first. It might still be Aatrox now that I'm looking at it closely.
I don't think so.
But it doesn't. It seems like nothing. It's
a Darkin that it's being transformed into a weapon.
It's a mushed Darkin, like
yeah.
a little devil Darkin. So yeah, it's a very bad card. Going into our 4th pick, we have Jay Medarda.
So Jay Medarda is very bad because Piltover Zal doesn't have anything to do with his effect. You cannot really target him in any good ways in this region, and to be honest, Piltover Zal is the best region to buy cards, and he is literally the worst card to buy other cards in the game.
Yeah, Jay Medarda is also canonically a family in Piltover Zal, as we have seen in Arcane. So he's very thematic, like lore-wise, but other than that, he's just a 6 cost with no keywords, just a 5/5, very limited in what he intends to do for this region. And like I always say, and we can say this about Seal in Steel as well, this card is just here to make card creation generation pool worse. So for instance, Seal in Steel could make Seraphine's card pool creation worse, and Jay Medarda does Tribing worse, he makes timelines worse, so he's just a card that is going to make a lot of other cards worse.
Yeah, other thing is that his attributes and his stats are really bad for 6 mana. 5/5, it's not what you're looking for in this scope of mana, so it doesn't really fit in any of the Piltover Zone decks in the meta right now. The region's really focused on buying cards and dealing damage with burn spells, and he doesn't really fit into that too, so he's never been played at all, and he's definitely one of the worst cards in the game.
Yeah, also the targeting archetype is more focused on Pantheon and Auction, maybe Varus, so these are regions that do not interact with Piltover Zal at all. So yeah, he's just another bad unit from Piltover, from the days that Piltover had bad units. Nowadays it just has Scraptration and just, dunk on everyone with Heimer and Jace. But Jay Medarda is definitely one of those OG units that used to be really bad in stats, that did absolutely nothing for Piltover Zal. As it should be, as it always should be. Let's go into our 3rd pick. The Paper Tree, a landmark from Bandle City.
So yeah, this This landmark is very strange because you need to pay 2 mana to put in the board, and then you have to have a unit that is equipped with another unit, and this unit needs to attack, and all the thing that you gain is like 1 attack. It's so less, so little.
Yeah, it also says +1/+0, so it doesn't even give health to your units. And it occupies a space on board, which is not what you want to see with this type of archetype. Attachment is also a mechanic that doesn't do anything really nowadays. That equipment is here. So this is a landmark that does nothing. It doesn't even grant a keyword, right? Should be maybe even impact.
Yeah, I think impact would be good in this card. I think giving health should be good too. But it's just 1 point of attack, so it doesn't really matter at all. It's so slow, you have to pay 2 mana and then have another unit. It's not really worth it. Another thing too is that it occupies a space in the board. So you have a board now with 5 spaces. You need to have 6 to play your aggro decks with a lot of cheap units in Vandal City.
Yeah, if it was like +0, +1, plus impact or another keyword, I would say it could be okay, considering that the buff goes to the attachment unit, not the unit that is attached to. So yeah, I don't know, this card needs to be buffed in a way that isn't just power and 0 health. And, yeah, it's just too slow. But the artwork is very pretty. It also makes the pool of random landmark creation worse, so my theory remains true. Let's go into the second worst card in the entire game. We have here Strong Arm, which is a 6-cost spell, slow speed from Bilgewater. It says, Plunder, recall any follower into your hand.
Yeah, it doesn't recall into your hand champions. If this card recalls champions, it would be a really good card actually, but it's just a 6 mana slow spell that doesn't really fit in any of the Sentina archetypes. So it's so trashy that you don't want to put in your deck at all.
Yeah, I thought the Plunder effect said that it had a cost reduction. Maybe I was confused with the Path of Champions effects. But yeah, 6 cost for just recalling a follower into your hand at slow speed is like one of those Bilgewater removals that, because Bilgewater can't have any good removals outside of Risky Business maybe, so, and BB obviously. But yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. The only time that I have seen this card make sense is in the hands of Sarah, Captain Sarah, the subreddit, the main subreddit mod. So yeah, she's very scary with this card, but usually this card doesn't do anything.
So let's go to the first card, the least powerful card in the game, and definitely the worst card of all times in Legends of Runeterra. It's Sunk Cost. It's 8 mana, slow speed spell. It says place a unit or a landmark into its deck.
Yeah, it's another one of those Bilgewater removals that doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to play this card at all. At least it's a bit thematic, as we've mentioned with Jamie Adar, that this is actually Jack's ship. It's Jack's boat, sunken after Tankhench went to collect his debt, and Jack couldn't pay. So it's a bit thematic, but at the same time, it's so bad. Like, it's the worst landmark removal of all time.
We have a little bit of a story with this card. When Ari Cannon was one of the best decks in the meta, some people from the community actually put the sunk cost in their decks to prove a point that Ari Cannon was so strong that even though you have 3 sunken costs in your deck, the deck is still 65% win rate. So actually this card saw play competitive.
Yeah, it saw a little bit of playing competitive as a joke from a few of our most competitive players. But yeah, it was just a point to prove that Ari Cannon could still have 2 copies of the worst card in the game and still win lots of games, considering it was an Allegiance deck. So we only had 3 sunk cost copies, and the other cards were all Ionia. This card the name is also very thematic because it plays with the idea of the sunk cost fallacy, which means sometimes when we spend a lot of resources on a thing, we tend to double down and no, I'm gonna go with this all the way through, but many times it's just better to let it go. And this card should definitely be let go in the depths of Legends of Runeterra, because it is absolutely horrifying. It is also, it came at a time when the meta was beginning to see landmark. It was the introduction of landmark mechanics in the game. So each region got some type of removal. Not each region, most regions got some type of removal for landmarks. And I don't know why, but the rioters decided to, you know, just double down and have Build War have this horrifying card to remove a landmark.
So that's it, guys. Those were the top 5 worst cards of all time in Legends of Runeterra. Don't forget to leave a like and comment and subscribe in our YouTube channel.
Yeah, say down here, comment down below if you think there is a worse card in Legends of Runeterra, and I'll see you all on the next video.